First thing we need to do is enter the Kinematics workbench. And to run Kinematics, you'll need each product that moves to be in as its own item in the first level of the tree. So here the pedal was not, so we moved it into its own level. And we'll hide some of the components that will get in the way of making the pedal and the propeller move. To create kinematics, you need to have at least one fixed part, and the rest can be moving parts. So we'll create a new mechanism which will contain all the kinematics. Call it pedal prop. See that it appears here in the tree. Now we can create our first revolute joint. You'll see a large selection joint. We'll want a revolute joint for the pedals as well as the prop. You need to click two axes, one on the moving part, the pedal here, which will go through the center axis of the rotation of the pedal, and also one axis on the fixed part. Here we'll click on the axis that's parallel running through the bracket that the pedals connect to. You also need two planes that'll be parallel to each other, and the rotation will occur in this plane around the two axes that we just selected. You'll want to click the offset radio button to set the planes at the distance that they are already constrained to, as well as angle driven. Press OK. Now we'll create our second revolute joint for the propeller assembly. Same system here, two axes, one on the moving part, one on the fixed part. There's a little cylinder that pokes out of the fuselage frame there. That will select as our second axis. And now again we'll need two parallel planes, one on the fixed part, one on the revolving part. And to get a good plane for the shaft of the propeller, you need to show this plane. And we'll also click on the plane parallel to that that's on the cylinder poking out of the fuselage frame that we selected for our axes. You'll want to set a distance for the planes. Now we have our simulations. We can show that they are working as expected. But we still need to connect the pedals to the propeller. So we'll go into the same selection menu, select gear joint, and we'll select each of the revolute joints for 1 and 2. And I'll set a ratio of 0.5. That's the rotation ratio. And we'll set a maximum and minimum rotation, 0 and 1080 degrees. You have to click OK to get back to that menu. You go in through the tree again. We add the parts of the plane that we were missing. Check to see if it's working as expected. Type in 1080 or any number greater than 0. Press play. We can set the steps to play. And we see that the propeller is not quite moving the opposite direction as we would expect with the pedaling motion. So we can go back and fix that in the simulation, in the gear mechanism. Click opposite, OK. Check the Make sure it works as we expect. Again, typing the number at the top. Okay, it seems to be doing what we want. And now we will create a simulation. Go down to find your mechanism, pedal prop, or whatever you named it. Press OK. Take it back to the beginning. Press automatic insert. Now when we scroll through on in the left window over here, it'll automatically insert it into the simulation. It doesn't matter how fast you drag the pull bar. Now you see if we play it backwards and forward. And press OK. Now we have our simulation. To play it, you can select it in the tree. Okay, same as we just showed.